Hey guys, I've talked to you a lot about arson investigation myths, and I'm going to tell you something that happened today in 2025 that should scare everybody. I write for industry publications quite regularly through my day job. I'm a fire protection engineer, and I have been in the process of writing an article for an industry publication. And before we ever send our articles out to the publication, we make sure they are peer reviewed by technical experts that we know their qualifications. So it's already been peer reviewed by a technical expert. But the publication is still going to do their own technical peer review to do their due diligence before they publish it, and they should. So today I got comments back from a technical editor. Now in this article I talk about spalling. This is where the surface of concrete degrades as a result of a fire specifically. That's the kind of spalling I was talking about, where the moisture in the concrete heats up. It doesn't have anywhere to go as it vaporizes and expands, and it causes cracking of the concrete, and it causes the surface of the concrete to degrade. It causes like cracks and chips in the concrete. That's spalling. Now, once upon a time, arson investigators were taught that anytime you saw spalling, it meant that there was probably a flammable liquid or an accelerant poured on the concrete, and that is what causes the spalling. But this has been completely debunked. In fact, it's been debunked for over 20 years now. We now know that actually when you have a flammable liquid poured on concrete, it's less likely to spall. Spalling is actually caused by radiant heat from adjacent combustibles and not from flammable liquids. However, I discuss spalling in my article. I got the technical review comments back today, and the technical reviewers specifically cited some of these old debunked studies and said that I got this section wrong, that spalling was a sign of an accelerant in February of 2025. But guys, I don't know this person's qualifications. I don't know if they're a fire protection expert or if they're a mechanical engineer or some other kind of engineer or maybe even a science teacher. I don't know. And it doesn't matter, because what happened is when you Google concrete spalling from fire, these old arson investigation myths were so prolific that the AI aggregator is looking at what's the most common information out there across all the sources it can find, and that's what it's spitting back at you. So when you Google that, the AI assistant will tell you that spalling is a sign of an accelerant and arson. And it's not true. It's been debunked. Now, this has been debunked for over 20 years, but there are a lot of people that are sitting in prison because of debunked arson investigation myths. You can listen to this week's episode on Angela Garcia. She spent 22 years in prison. Christine Bunch spent 17 years in prison. Juwan Deering spent 15 years in prison. And Cameron Todd Willingham was executed. All of them because junk science and now debunked arson investigation myths were in the courtroom. And these myths are still so prolific that I got one back today in my technical review, and this should scare everybody. We have a long way to go, guys.